I was on the phone. Dude needed to use it. I said, hold up. When I'm done, you could get it. He said, cool. I thought it was over, but it wasn't. Here's the story. When I was 17 years old, I went to the holding tank inside the Jefferson Parish Department of Corrections in Louisiana. And I was 17 years old, like I said. I had some experience with juvenile detention, and I had ripped and ran within the groups of people who always wound up in prison. So I wasn't really fazed. I didn't understand prison and jail yet. This wasn't the time when I was going to begin serving no sentence. It was one of my first adult charges, and it was for, like I said, a vandalism charge of spray painting. So obviously, I wasn't going to be in there for a long time. But I did have to make a phone call once I got to the holding tank so I can bond out and so I can let my people know what I was in there for. I made the phone call. Dude asked me about the phone. I told him when I was done, he can get it. And nothing happened. I didn't think anything of it. About 15 minutes went by, hung up the phone. I actually wound up on another phone. Oh boy, got to get the phone I was on. So I got another phone because I was calling to check up and see how my bond was going with my family. You know, you're impatient when you're 17 years old and you think everything needs to happen this quick. So I called another phone on another wall, and I made the phone call, talking to my family and everything, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get out, of course. And when I hung up the phone and turned around, boom, dude snuck me. Bop, 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 bop. You know the story. We start getting in a fight. He snuck me. I punched him. We fighting. And it's in the holding tank. And in the holding tank, they got about, 40 people in there. It's deep. The guards ain't watching every second of what's going on in the holding tank. I don't even know if they had cameras back then. This is in like 1993, 1994. And so we fighting. Bop, 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 bop. We fight on one side. We go over a couple of people. We fall down. We get back up. We fight. For eventually, the officers eventually find out what's happening. They come in there with the key. They break us up. They separate us. They move me to a different place and move him to a different place. I didn't know why this dude snuck me because everything seemed cool. I don't even know why I got phone check, or if you can technically call this a phone check, because he snuck me once I hung the phone up. I think what it was is I was a 17-year-old young white boy. This was a black dude, and he was just trying, that's just what it is. He was probably looking, look, I'm going to make a victim out of this dude. I don't know if that was the case. I personally think that he was just trying to earn some stripes in there, and he was picking the wrong person to earn the stripes off of. You wasn't going to get it off me at 17 years old. I was skinny. I was inexperienced. I wasn't no convict. I was just, coming through on a misdemeanor type charge. And he snuck me and wanted to try to get some stars off me because he looked like I remember seeing the dude after he asked me about the other phone, and he had that kind of demeaning look, you know what I mean? He was kind of mean mugging type dude. I remember dark-skinned black dude, shaved head, shaved face, you know what I mean? Had a nice little size on him. He was probably roughly, give or take, probably about 4 or 5 years older than me. And he was sizing me up, and he was looking, and see, I was young then. I was catching eye contact with a lot of people, so maybe he thought I was checking him. I don't know. Needless to say, me and him got in a fight, and this was my first fight inside an adult prison. This was the only fight in my entire life that I got inside the holding tank. Of course, once I got up the road, once I got upstairs, once I got to state prison, I got in a lot more fights. But inside the holding tank, throughout my years of getting in trouble and ripping and running, this was the only fight I had inside the holding tank. I seen many of fights inside the holding tank. I seen drunk dudes get hit up in the holding tank, bang, 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 banged up because they were, they come in there and they're obnoxious. They make a lot of noise, cause a lot of trouble. They start throwing up and they start peeing on themselves, and dudes don't want to deal with all that. So they ride them out of there. They jump them. They hit them. They get the police to get them out the holding tank because they don't want to be laying in there for the next 15 hours as they're waiting to get for the judge to bail them out or post a bail that they're going to be, having to smell somebody's urine or even worse. So the holding tank can be a place where you can get in a fight. I did get in a fight. You got to really watch what's going on inside the holding tank because you got a lot of alpha males in a small area and there's not a lot of room. And when people need to lay down or when they start giving blankets out and it's cold in the middle of the night and people start falling asleep at 2 and 3 in the morning, you can get your blanket jacked. You can get your pillow jacked if they hand them out. Sometimes they do. In Jefferson Parish, they used to hand out mats at a certain time, hand out pillows or blankets or whatever because it does get cold in there. I don't remember everything. But you can get into some stuff. And you look, I know it's different if you do prison time on the West Coast, far on the East Coast, in the South in Louisiana, things are obviously different. The holding tank is, it's just different. So that was my story. I got into a fight inside the holding tank, and I got many more, and that's it.